Shaqiri. So then, the first of 4 Liverpool players that I will be reviewing is that man, is Xherdan Shaqiri, the cheapest of the 4. Now, I'll be using a system that I have uniquely and ingeniously named VAR. Yeah, I know, it sounds very interesting, doesn't it? Well, the way I will be judging all 4 Liverpool players is using this system. V for value for money, the A for their ability, and the R for required. So are they really necessary to be signed for the team? Now, obviously, I'll be giving them a mark out of 10 for each of the 3 stats, and then they will have a mark out of 30 overall. And that is how I'll compare the 4 Liverpool players and see which do I think has been the best signing. So, of course, with Shaqiri, we'll start with the V, which is value for money. Now, we got him for something about £13 million, which is an absolute bargain. He's still only 26 years old, and despite the fact that he's the oldest of the signings, he's still got a lot of potential and a lot of years left to play. He can be playing football for another 10 years yet. Like, he's got loads of years ahead of him, so the age is not an issue at all. But we got him so cheap, and he's a quality player that we do need. So I've got to give him somewhere around about a 9 out of 10. So we're starting high. 9 out of 10 for value for money. Out of the 4 players, he's probably the best value for money because we got him so cheaply. And the A is for ability. Now, in his ability, he's clearly a very skillful player. He's clearly a very good passer of the ball. And, of course, he can score long shots from outside the box and all sorts of goals, just like that one right there. So he's clearly got the talent, alright? He's a quality player, but so are all 4 of the signings. So the only way we can distinguish between all 4 is by declaring one of them as the most skillful and necessary and, you know, quality player, and the least. And unfortunately, Shaqiri, out of the 4 players, is probably the least. It's probably got the least ability of the 4, and that's hard to say because he's a very good player. I think about 8 goals and 7 assists last season, but unfortunately that is the case. I'll still give him a 7 out of 10 for ability because he's still a very good player, but he's not as good as the other 3, so just a 7 on ability. The last of the 3 stats that I'll be using is he required? Is he really required for the team? And in this one, I'll be giving him a 7 out of 10, okay? So 7 out of 10 in required, which basically means that he is a necessary player. We've been looking for a backup to the likes of Mane, Salah, and Fabinho for all of last season, to be honest, because if one of them got injured, we have to rely on the likes of Ings or Solanke. But Shaqiri, with his clearly good communication and teamwork, as we can see there with Keita, Shaqiri is just a great backup because he's so much better than Ings or Solanke that if one of the front 3 does get injured, we can so easily rely on him. So there we go, Shaqiri. For me, it's got to be a 7 out of 10 required. We do need a backup, and he is a very adequate backup. So overall, this is the score that I've given it out of 30. It is 23 combined, 9 on the value for money, 7 for ability, and 7 for required. Will he top the table at the end, or will one of the other 3 win overall? Well, you'll have to keep watching to find out, but Shaqiri gets 23 out of 30. The next review is Fabinho. Let's go. So then, it is Fabinho, the defensive midfielder from Monaco, that is next to be reviewed. Now, for just £40 million, I know it sounds a lot, but it is the second cheapest of all Liverpool's signings. But we are getting ourselves a really handy player, a very good player. He can dribble, he can move the ball quickly, he can think quickly, he can anchor that midfield, he's got strength, tackling ability, he's got it all as Fabinho. He can even take penalties. He's a brilliant player all round, and Liverpool done really well to sign him, especially considering United was so interested. He's only 24 years old, so he's got so many years left, and hopefully he'll spend a lot of them at Liverpool if he plays well. And for £40 million, you know, it's worth buying. So to be honest, I know Shaqiri was a lot cheaper, but Shaqiri isn't as good as him. So I'm only going to give Shaqiri 1 more point on value for money than Fabinho. Fabinho can have an 8 out of 10. Shaqiri, of course, got the 9, as we discovered earlier on. But yeah, Fabinho needs an 8 out of 10 just because he's so good. And for his ability, therefore, it's got to be at least a 9. Like, it's going to be at least a 9, maybe even a 10 for his ability. He's so good, and I think he's going to be brilliant at Liverpool. So yeah, a 9 for his ability, and we had 8 for value for money. Now the other part of my VAR scheme is he required? Do we really need another defensive midfielder? And the answer to that is yes, I'll take one. We need a defensive-minded midfielder more than another attacking-minded midfielder, but we do already have the likes of Jordan Henderson, who I'm happy for him to play. Milner can play defensive mid or attacking mid. Gino Wijnaldum can play defensive mid, although I would prefer Fabinho to all of these players. So do we really need a defensive midfielder? Well, yes, we could do with one, but there are positions that we need new players in a lot more than defensive midfield, so I'm still going to give it a 7 out of 10 for required, but overall that gives him a good score. So Fabinho, where does that put him on the overall leaderboard? It puts him top. He's on 24 out of 30, 8 for value for money, 9 for ability, and 7 for required. Only 1 point higher than Shaqiri overall though, because of Shaqiri's high value for money. But overall, Fabinho is so far Liverpool's best signings, but we've got 2 still to come. Can anyone top it? Well, we're going to find out soon. So Naby Keita is the 3rd Liverpool player to look at. So we've already looked at Shaqiri and Fabinho earlier on, but now it's time for our new number 8, taken after Steven Gerrard, and it is Naby Keita. So what do I think is his value for money? Well, he did cost quite a bit of money. Obviously, we actually sorted out the deal at the end of last season in the transfer window, but he's officially joined us now on the 1st of July. But we had to pay for getting towards £60 million for him, so it was quite a lot of money. But is he worth it? Well, he is a very good player. So for value for money, he still deserves a respectable score despite costing so much. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. He's a very, very good player. He's shown it at RB Leipzig. He's great. He's a great dribbler. He's a great finisher. He's a great passer of the ball as well. He's just an all-round very, very good box-to-box midfielder. He's got the creative ability, but the defensive ability too. So he's got it all really for a box-to-box midfielder. So the only reason that I can only give him a maximum of about 7 out of 10 is because he costs so much. In terms of his ability, I mean, it's at least an 8. I know I gave Fabinho a 9, Shaqiri a 7. I'm going to put Keita in the middle. I don't think he's quite as good as Fabinho, what he does, but he is still a world-class player, of course. So I think 8 out of 10, but under Klopp's pressing style, he could absolutely flourish this season. So maybe by the end of the season, we'll be giving him a 10 out of 10 for ability, but 8 for now. Now, the other score, of course, in the VAR scheme is the R is for required. Now, is he that required? Do we really need another attacking midfielder? And the answer to that, unfortunately, is probably no. We need a defensive midfielder a lot more than we need an attacking midfielder. So buying an attacking midfielder, as much as I'm happy that Keita's joined the club, we don't really need one. We've got loads of attacking options, so I'm just going to give him a 6 out of 10 for the required. Is he required? So how does that look overall? Well, on the leaderboard, with a 7 for value for money, an 8 for ability, and a 6 for required, gives him a total of just 21 out of 30, which actually means that compared to Fabinho and Shaqiri, he is Liverpool's worst signing so far. But we still have one to come. Fabinho remains at the top at the moment, but Alisson is yet to come. Will he take the glory? Only time will tell. So then, Alisson Becker is the last Liverpool player to review. Will he get top spot? Well, we know I need to review him in the 3 areas of VAR: the value for money, his ability, and how required he is. So we'll start with the value for money, and we have to pay, I think about £60 million. Hang on. Excuse me one moment. 3, 2, 1, drop it. Anyway, where were we? Oh yes, value for money. So we paid about £60 million for him, which means that pretty much maximum you're going to get value for money is about 7 out of 10, the same as Keita, who was also getting towards 60 million. Although I do think that Alisson is a bit better than Keita. So in terms of ability out of 10, I have given him a very solid 9, which is the same as Fabinho. Both very, very good players, and Alisson is an exceptional goalkeeper. He is bordering on world class. And this season, if he wins the Golden Boot, which he could well do with a great defence in front of him, and yes, Lovren is a world class defender. I'm not being sarcastic, he is very good. And you got the likes of Van Dijk, he's a world class defender. Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, I'm not joking, world class. So with those in front of him, he's got a great chance of getting the Golden Boot, and he will become world class. So I'm giving him a 9 out of 10 for his ability based on the season at Roma anyway. But if he kicks on at Liverpool, he could easily be 10 by the end of the season. The other one is required. Now, is he really required? The answer to that is a definite yes. We do need a world-class keeper. We've not had a world-class keeper since Reina. And could you even call him world-class? I'm not sure. He was very good. But since then, we've had the likes of Mignolet, we've had the likes of Karius, Bogdan. You know, we've not had anyone that wonderful. Whereas Alisson should hopefully be the wonderful world-class keeper that we've been after. So in terms of necessity, in terms of how required he is, he's very, very, very required. We definitely need him if we're going to kick on and challenge for the title and even win the Premier League title. Karius cost of the Champions League. Yes, he did have a concussion, so you can let him off for that. But at the end of the day, he cost of the Champions League, and if Becker was in there, he probably wouldn't have made those mistakes, even if he was concussed. So, in terms of the required score out of 10, I'm going to have to give him a 10, and that's the first time I've given any player a 10 in this series so far. That means that it's put him at number 1 on the board. Yes, that means that Alisson is Liverpool's best signing of the transfer window this summer. All of the scores are in the 20s, which I think is pretty good. He's got 26 with 7 value for money, 9 ability, and 10 out of 10 required. Brilliant work from Alisson, and he has been Liverpool's best signing this summer.